If you're a woman going into your second act, you may be thinking, it's time to declutter my house. But when you look around, you see good stuff, not clutter. Hi, I'm Susan McCarthy of A Less Cluttered Life, and let's talk about the messages that your house can be sending you. You may realize that your house isn't working as well as it could be because you forever seem to be cleaning and organizing and reorganizing and looking for that thing that you know is somewhere. Traditional decluttering methods have you pick up an item and look at it and say, do I need this? But instead, if you look at the messages your house is sending you, you can shift into problem solving. Instead of just wondering about the item in your hand, you can look at patterns that are running throughout your house and solve them so that your house is more pleasant and running more efficiently. So the first thing I want to define is what decluttering is and isn't. Decluttering is not just randomly purging stuff for the sake of decluttering. I'm decluttering, I need to get rid of this. That isn't what you have to do. You're not randomly getting rid of things. Instead, you are acting with intention. You are choosing what supports your life and what is actually bringing you benefits. What are things that support your life now that you use in the life that you're currently living, as opposed to how you were living 5 or 10 years ago, or that aspirational, like I would like to, version of yourself that isn't quite there. So I've been mentioning that your home can be sending you messages that will help you to declutter more efficiently and make your home more functional. So what type of questions are you asking an item instead of, do I need this? And sorry, I'm going to be reading my list. So when you pick up an item, first ask, why is this here? Is this where it belongs? Is this where you use it? Or is it something that you set down for a moment and decided, I'll put it away later. I'm horrible at doing this. Also, does this item have a home? If it's just sitting there, do you actually know where it belongs, or did it end up there by default because you haven't decided where it belongs? And so you figure, well, it's out in the open. This way I will see it and remember to figure out a place to put it where I can put it away. And that doesn't usually work for me either. The item can sit there for a couple of weeks at least. So the next thing is, when you actually find a spot where you're going to store this, or you already know where this item belongs, is there space there to put this away? And next, if there isn't space to put it away, is there just too much of the same type of stuff? Maybe you have to keep, grooming products in multiple spots around your house because you don't have one space that will fit all of it. And you get to then decide, do I need to limit what I own so I can fit it all in one space? Or is it something that you really need so much of this product? And this can be grooming products, this could be office supplies, this could be craft supplies if that's something that you do. It could be food even, do you have multiple places that are acting as your pantry for different types of products? So one thing to remember is that every out of place item isn't a failure. It is information that you can use. It's a message about how you can better organize your house. So, for example, if you don't know where something belongs, then that's not a moment to just put it wherever you can find the space. That's a moment to look at this item and go, where do I really use this? How often am I going to use this? And how can I get this item stored close to where I'm going to use it most often? And if you use it all the time, it should be as close as possible to where you're going to use it. And if it's something you're not using as frequently, then it can be in a slightly inconvenient spot because you might not go after that item. You might not be using that item more than a couple of times a year. So for example, your skillet that you use daily, you would want to have in a really convenient spot that you're not, wrestling to get that item out of wherever you have it tucked away. You want it someplace where you can grab it quickly and easily and also put it away with ease. The other thing to consider is, if it's not something as often used as a skillet, maybe it's a roasting pan, then that's something that can be in a more inconvenient location, because if it's a little bit of a hassle once or twice a year, you can live with that. And yes, that still means that you need to put the item away and it's going to be inconvenient, but try and remind yourself, I only have to do this a couple times a year and I can get this done. The other situation you may be dealing with, the other message you're getting from your house, is that you have too much stuff. Maybe you can't close the drawer that you are putting t-shirts into, or your sock drawer has socks kind of hanging out, or the kitchen gadget drawer always gets stuck when you try to open it because there's so much stuff there. If that's the case, that's an area that you want to look at and decide, do I have too much stuff here? Is there stuff here that isn't working for me? Is there stuff here that I can declutter, that I can give away, that I can donate? And look at those items and say, do I have duplicates? How many spatulas do I need? How many whisks do I need? Whatever the case may be, and look at ways to condense what you have so that you are living with the things that you use all the time, as opposed to the things that are, duplicates and maybe not as effective as your favorite items. Another area that can be an inconvenience is where you have to move things out of the way to put something away, that you have to go into another room to put something away, even though that's not the room where you use it. So this is problem solving, where you're saying, why is it such a hassle to put something away? Because if it's a hassle to put away, chances are you're not going to be able to put it away quickly, and it's going to sit there on the counter or on the chair or floor or wherever, because you're going to tell yourself, I'm going to put this away when I have a chance. If that's the case, then you might have a few options here. You might decide that you need to simply move the item into the room where you use it all the time, as opposed to where you were storing it. And sometimes you're storing it someplace else just because there's more space there, but it's not the convenient place to store it. The other thing you might realize is that it's inconvenient to put away because you have so much stuff in this spot where you're storing things, in that cabinet or in the closet or in a drawer. There's so much stuff there that you really have to work to put something away. So instead, what you might need to do in that case is to pull things out and actually look and go, am I using all of this stuff? Is there stuff here that I don't use, that I don't appreciate any longer because it isn't supporting the life I'm currently living? And then realize this is something that I can get rid of. The other thing might simply be you need to rearrange things. Maybe it's inconvenient to get to something and you realize that the thing you use all the time is actually being stored behind stuff that you use less frequently. So maybe you have everything that you want in this spot. You don't have any extra stuff. You just need to rearrange. So you can see that, there's no one solution to problem solving. I can't tell you, do this and you will resolve all of your clutter problems. You really have to figure out, why is my stuff here and what message is it telling me? Why are things like out of place? Why is it difficult to get to things? Why can't I put things away? And figure out what the issue is so that you can figure out what the solution will be for you. So as you can see, when you approach decluttering as a problem-solving method, it isn't about just grabbing the trash bags, tossing stuff in trash bags, grabbing boxes and going, well, I should donate this just because that's what you're supposed to do when you're decluttering. You're being very mindful of what you're keeping and what you're getting rid of, and you're really making carefully considered decisions based on your own life and not on random decluttering rules. So remember, you're looking at your house and you're wondering, if something is out of place, if something hasn't been put away, is there a home for it? Do you know where this item belongs? Is there space to put it away where you want to store it? And is it too inconvenient to put away so you're not actually carrying out that particular action on a timely basis to keep your home neat and organized looking? So if you have any questions, please post them in the comments. If one of these messages really resonated with you about how to find the clutter and how to problem solve in your home, if one of those messages really kind of connected with you, please let me know in the comments. And please consider subscribing to my channel here, A Less Cluttered Life. I'm Susan McCarthy, and thank you for listening, and please let me know what other topics you would like me to discuss. Thank you.